I was hoping that I'd have the Imperial Knights Codex by today, but I suppose I'm not surprised that I don't have it, given my local shop had to set up pre-orders by Tuesday last week. Well, not much I can do about that.
They really postponed that by a good bit. Any reason as to why?
No, they've not given official reasons, and I doubt they ever will say so. But there's been a few leaks suggesting why they might have delayed it.
Any of them actually credible?
No, not really. Though it's funny how often 4chan leaks have been true. This is also probably the first codex that hasn't been leaked several months in advance, which I don't know how this is possible at this point. But let's go over a few of these, one of which I find hilarious. The first theory was that there was a problem between the company that printed the codices and Games Workshop. I don't think this is very likely since the Imperial Knights Codex was originally scheduled to release with the Chaos Knights one, and there's other codices that got released in the time. So if the company was just holding the Imperial Knights Codex hostage, that seems rather strange. Of course, another theory about it just seems insanely unlikely, just because of the timing behind it. I heard one guy say that the codex had to be rewritten because it was insanely powerful, which would make sense given how shafted the information we know of how it is now. Problem being is that there's a very long time for GW to make rules on any codex. They're definitely starting work for 11th edition either this year or last, and that's with the assumption that at earliest, 11th will come out next year, if not in 2 or 3 years.
Are we still in the intro section of this video? Because you've already hit 2 of 3 points, and I don't think we're even on the second page of the script, are we?
You know, I think we actually are. Actually, I don't think I could really fill out the rest of this Warhammer Wednesday video with just the last possible reason. Though, like I said before, the last reason is silly enough for me to laugh at. We'll see what happens. I should probably just go into this subject. So, I read on 4chan that the reason the Imperial Knights Codex was delayed was because the Knight Defender didn't fit together properly, and they had to redesign the thing. Now, how is that even possible? They reveal the Knight Defender and the Knight Ruinator at the exact same time. Both use the Questor's skeleton, as I call it, and yet the Defender wasn't fitting together right? Well, we've all theorized that the box art and the website photos aren't actually photos. I remember seeing a video some 2 years ago, I think, that said that the photos in the box art of new models are literally impossible to actually do. I always thought that they painted the pieces individually, then put the models together. That's still possible, but sometimes the things flush together too evenly for that to be the case. Let's look at Nagash here. Look at those little ghosts floating around him at the bottom. Yeah, I don't think you can do that unless you've got some tools that I've yet to see. Because this one is mine. Specifically, look at that ghost in the front there. He's drooping low and at a major angle because the connection point is less than ½ centimeter in radius, and it holds the entire stick's weight, and the stick is expected to be at an odd angle. The ghost on the stick is meant to be put there steps ahead of this point, which leads to the weight dragging this thing down. If the ghost was stuck on afterwards, this is possible. Not easy, but possible. This model, I've bitched about this model in a video, just talking about how much I hate assembling it. Well, it was also talking about Nagash's story, but whatever. But how did they reveal the model without knowing that the model couldn't work? You'd think they'd have assembled the model to see if it works first, then they'd advertise it, but no. Apparently they just get the idea, make some sprues, and release the teasers for it. Honestly, none of these options make any sense when you think about them for a third of a second, but neither does the Black Library writing choices lately. Of course, there's also rumors of another choice they're making, which I don't like, but I think I understand it. Games Workshop has been quadrupling down on the motto they've had for a while. No model, no rules. They tried getting rid of the Death Watch entirely because they only had 5 unique sets of models, one of which was the Kill Team Cassius, and means that they got rid of Cassius from the wargame twice in one edition, because they also got rid of the Chaplain Cassius in the 10th edition Space Marines Codex. But Games Workshop may be taking the Canis Rex model and the Sir Hector model and making them a part of their own unique boxes again, while also stuffing the Defender into the Questor's box. Now, is this a good idea? I don't think so. But at the same time, looking at the weapons on top for the Defender, it'll need only one full sprue, really. So, really the Questor's box shouldn't increase in price by more than $3 because each sprue, including energy costs, only costs about a single British pound. Of course, that brings up the issue of public trading and such, but let's keep on this subject. If Canis Rex box is sold solo, it'll probably be about the same price as the Vampire on Zombie Dragon model, which you can't use the Vampire model for, only the Zombie Dragon model, and it costs $200. How? You know what's sad? This is likely the price of the single knight, Canis Rex. The multi-box likely will be similar price, if not more. And with Games Workshop having less and less customers, they need to make more and more money in order to pay off their debts to their investors, which demand constant growth. You see, a company that publicly traded does not make money off of their customers, they make money off of their investors. I've said this so many times, I'm pretty sure I could do a playlist of videos where I say this one line. With the investors though, it's likely why they skip steps, but in the delay they ran a huge risk against said investors. They reveal the model with the test sprues likely in the oven and try to appease investors by exciting customers. But upon realizing the sprue didn't work right, they had to delay and redesign in order to keep customers happy, but that runs the risk of making investors unhappy and ask questions. We'll likely get an answer to why the codex was delayed in the next investor meeting in, it's either March of next year or in a week or so. Maybe I should actually look into these investor meetings. Would be nice to get research of this stuff, but I'd be afraid I'd turn into a financial channel, and I don't want to do that, because I know it'd lead to a lawsuit because some people took some of my jokes seriously. Whatever. The codex will likely come out on Saturdays, so I'll probably do my next Warhammer Wednesday video on the Imperial Knights Codex. The stuff I know about it so far does not fill me with hope though. Especially the fact that IKs can only have 2 battle line units in their army now, but that'll wait for me to complain. How long have we been going on for now, Aaron?
Looks like about a little less than 10 minutes. good enough for you, right?
Yep, come on. Margaret needs some help installing a waterproof screen in her new tank, so let's shove off.